What's up, guys? Julian here today. I'm going to be back showing you how to make deep minimal house. I've learned a bunch of new stuff to make the style, and I'm going to be showing you all about it in this video. As usual, you can get the full project files, samples, MIDI, presets, every single thing from this video. It's available right at the top of the description for just $5. This really helps support me. If you guys enjoy these videos, I really don't make a whole lot just off of YouTube, but with these sample packs and templates, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day. So thank you so much for all the support, guys. And let's dive in. So, we're on 128 BPM, and the first thing that we have up here is going to be all of the synths. Now, I'm playing these all at once to kind of show you how busy this needs to be. You know, I think when you hear these tracks, it can be tempting to think like, oh, okay, it's just like one little piano stab and then like a synth chord. But it's really not just that, you know, and I think if you just do that, you're going to be wondering why your track doesn't really sound as professional and as full. And so, yeah, so I really want to show you guys, like, what it's supposed to sound like when you have it all as one here. Right, you know, it's pretty busy, but everything is kind of dancing around each other. Like, you have some that are just sort of constantly going. Right, and then you have some that just come like once every 2 bars, like these. Yeah, these like slower ones. And then what it is basically like you have these little phrases, like you might have like this one, or like this one. And then all those little phrases are playing off of each other, you know, like you have this on its own, and then you have this on its own, and then you put those together, right, and now all of a sudden you get a lot more energy, and then it's just that happening all throughout here. So that's really what people need to keep in mind. Like, the actual sounds, you know, are pretty straightforward, right? Like, you know, this one, it's just 2 saw waves with a low pass filter with an LFO and an envelope on it. You know, this one is just like some pretty simple FM stuff with operator. It's not that hard to make the sounds, and it's not that hard to make the MIDI either. It's all just pretty basic. Like, we're in the key of G minor, so it's all just stuff from the G minor chord. This is like a G minor 9 up here, but it's all like actually pretty simple stuff. But what makes it essentially like the tracks, and what makes it sound as professional as those tracks, is how all of these are bouncing around each other and constantly doing all these different things. So I recommend starting with like 1 or 2 of these and kind of build the groove around that. Like, here I had these 2. I had this one and this one. Right, and then you kind of need like a response to that. So then I made this one. Right, you just throw in that little hit there. And then there's like needs to be a response to that one. So that's where this one comes in. And you can see how this could like quickly become a lot less complicated. Again, just start simple, start with like 1 or 2 of them, but then kind of build it up around that. And again, you just want to make sure that you're never just doing like 1 or 2 of these, because it's really going to sound flat if you have that. And then this one down here, so this was an attempt to essentially write a melody that would fit with this. And this can work really well, because even though these are playing a bunch of chords, they're not really playing a chord progression, right? It's just kind of like one chord and then playing with like different rhythmic movements with that, essentially. So if you throw a melody over top of this, you can kind of move around a lot with the melody, and then these chords are staying the same, so it's going to be very catchy. And you can see like the melody is written with these chords in mind. Like, you'll notice here, whenever we have these, like these stabs, see how the melody is playing like a longer, more held out note? So you get that dun, 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 like that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, every element, like if you're gonna do this, you have to really make sure that like this melody is fitting all this other stuff in. It's not just about having a melody playing over top of all that other stuff. It's a melody playing over top of all that other stuff that was very carefully conditioned and kind of like set up to fit around all that other stuff. But you can see it's going to make the track really catchy if you do that. And the sound on this one is just a pretty simple FM sound too. Just 2 sine waves with reverb, a bit of echo, and then just being sidechained to the kick, and a high pass filter. And yeah, so those are the chord steps. Then we have the low end, which is the kick and the bass. And with these, I want to show you, so I'll show you the bass line first actually. So this is, yeah, this pretty simple bass line. You can see that we're just using 4 notes here actually, because we're doing essentially, so if I crop it really quick, you can see we've got the root note. We're in the key of G minor, so we're doing root note, minor 3rd, 5th, 6th. And even up here, these high notes are just an octave of the 5th down there. You can see. So yeah, basically, this is what you want to do. Like, it's this bouncy rhythmic pattern with only like 2 or 3 or 4 notes. Anything more than that, and it's going to start to get a little bit complicated and confused. And the technique here is we're kind of got a chord progression happening. Like, it's like this. Like, if I pitch it up a few octaves, you'll be able to hear it more. Right, that. Da, da, na, na. But what we're doing is we're saving the actual progression notes you can hear for like the end of every 2 bars, right? Like, it really takes its time on this G chord here and just hangs on, hangs on, hangs on. And then we go no, 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 no. And that's something that I notice is important with these tracks, because the bass line still needs to be that housey, like almost one note kind of groove, right? Where it's just sticking around that one thing. And then you just quickly do the progression at the end of every 2 bars or every 4 bars, and then we're right back up to that G. And the sound for both the kick and the bass is really simple. You'll notice that we don't have any processing, even on the group here. There's still nothing happening there. And really, like, that's all you really want. You know, you just want to get a nice, like in this case, this is just like a fat 909 kick. That's already sounding really good and really fat coming out of the 909. So then all we would have to do is just drop that into the project and have it loud enough to where you can actually hear it. And that's it. You don't need all that extra saturation and compression on this, because it's like, it's just a good kick and it's at the right level, so we don't need to use anything to boost it up. And then for the bass, you can see it's just made with analog. It's just 2 sine waves here, going into a low pass with a bit of an envelope on it. And that's really all you need. It's a very simple sound. But that's because it's a lot more about the notes that are being played than the actual sound. And then the only effect on here is that it's just being sidechained to the kick. And yeah, so then we have the drums and percussion, which starts with the main hi-hat. So this is 2 layers. We have this 909 hi-hat, which you can hear gives you that, like that kind of steady, you know, fat house hat. And then we also have this here. And you need that, because if you just have the 909 hi-hat, obviously that's most of what you're hearing. But this on its own, it doesn't quite have the punch to it. So that's where the second hi-hat comes in. You can hear that just kind of, yeah, like I said, makes everything a bit fatter and more punchy. And when you do this right, you really shouldn't even be able to notice so much that it's there. But when it's gone, you're really going to notice. The other thing here is shortening the 909 hi-hat. You can see. Yeah, when you open that up, it doesn't really have the same groove. You need to turn down that sustain and decay and get that little tight, like. Then we just have a live shaker. You know, it's good to bring something organic into here that isn't just like this rigid programmed percussion, but instead is going to kind of bring it to life a little bit more and give it a bit more energy. We have the clap. Just like a nice punchy fat clap. Again, kind of with all of these, you can see we're keeping on pretty much with what I was saying with the kick and the bass. Like, you really don't need much processing on these main powerful sounds, because it's like, you know, if you have good sounds, they're just going to sit right in the mix. You're not going to need all that extra processing. Just turn it up and get the levels right. And then the last thing down here is all this little percussion. So if I play these with the main hi-hat, you can kind of. So yeah, you can hear what's happening down there. So these are just all these little sounds that are going to bounce around your main drums. And these are really important, because if you don't have these, it's missing a lot of that groove, right? These are just going to fill in the track. And give it that life and give it that energy. And it starts down here with these bongos. You know, just having those kind of steadily going, I think adds a lot to this kind of track. And it's a good way to give it kind of something more organic. And then we move to, like, we have some 808 sounds here. Well as these rim shots, and then just one more little hi-hat. And yeah, so that is it for the drums, and that is also going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, every single thing from this video is available right at the top of the description on my Bandcamp, as well as on my website. This is a really great way to help support me if you guys enjoyed these videos. Again, I don't make a whole lot just off of the videos alone, but with these sample packs and stuff like this, I'm able to keep going and keep bringing you guys new videos. Thank you so much for all the support, everybody. Every little bit helps, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.